people buying the books don't like to find too much previously published work that's been around elsewhere, as that does really limit the market. And in addition to that, getting permissions from other publishers is quite a lengthy and costly process, so we do like to avoid it where possible. Yeah, the manuscript shouldn't be too long or highly technical, because again, this really bumps up production costs. So, I mean, if you do need figures and tables, illustrations to really highlight what you're working on, then that's great, but don't just put them into a pretty, I think. Ideally, the author should have a good publications record. And as Alison said, a good proposal is key. I mean, it needs to be sufficiently detailed, neatly presented, have a clear and engaging writing style, because basically that proposal shows you off in about 10 pages, and if those 10 pages aren't impressive, then it doesn't really bode well for a 200-page book. Many publishers have standard publishing proposal forms, which they do encourage people to complete in the first instance, as that gives a good overview of the entire book project as a whole. Our one is available on our website. I think that's probably true of most other publishers as well. And our one, there's 3 main sections, so some general information about the author or editor, the information about the book itself, including a synopsis, motivation for writing, and technical details such as length and figures and tables. And then the final section is, and it gives you a chance to say about the market that you think the book will have. In terms of our decision-making process, as I said, we do try to make a decision as quickly as we possibly can, because we know that some publishers take months and months and months, and it can be irritating, and people do tend to give up in the end. When we receive a proposal, obviously we make sure that it fits the main criteria that I've just gone through first of all, and at this stage we're able to make an assessment of the likely market that the book will have, and if we feel the market is sufficient, we then take the proposal on to having it discussed with referees. The referees that we use, obviously, are our way of maintaining the quality of the list and making sure that the book is as good as it promises. Normally when we have a proposal reviewed, it should only take a couple of weeks, but obviously this is very much dependent on who you use and their time commitments. When we get the advice back from the reviewers, obviously if it's a glowing report, we'll make an offer then and there. Obviously if there are a few concerns raised, we will send these back to the author and get them to respond to them and see if they can make any amendments to their proposal. And obviously if it's not a glowing report and a bit negative, then we do tend to get rid of that stage. But all being well, we are usually able to offer a contract on the basis of a detailed proposal alone. Sometimes we'll require to see sample chapters before making a decision, and in the case of PhDs, we do stipulate that we do have to see the whole manuscript before we make that final decision. We then go ahead and make an offer, negotiate the terms with the author, set a manuscript delivery date by mutual agreement, and then let the author go on and get on with their writing. Obviously we're on hand at any point if they have any questions or queries, and yeah, we're just there to kind of guide them through the process. So when the final manuscript arrives in-house, we usually arrange for the vast majority of manuscripts to be independently refereed, just to ensure that they are as good as they say they're going to be. All being well, it's then checked and then assigned a desk editor who will oversee the production process. So they will arrange the copy editing, typesetting, proofreading, indexing and printing. And they'll keep you closely informed of the manuscript's progress at every stage. Our books are typically produced in around 6 to 9 months, but obviously that is dependent on how quickly the author gets back to us with queries and responding to copy editing queries and looking at the proofs. Once we have the book in production, you'll also be contacted by the marketing department, and they will work very closely with you to make sure that all the main markets are targeted. This is usually done through extensive catalogue mailings to academics, booksellers, professionals and libraries. We also promote books via our website and an email notification system. We include books on Google Book Search, and they can also be browsed and purchased through Amazon. And most of our books, providing there aren't any rights restrictions, are also made available as ebook editions, and these are available through major ebook vendors. We attend all major conferences in Europe and North America, and also all major journals be notified about the publication of the book, and if it's a textbook, we do of course send out inspection copies. So that just gives you a general overview of the process. I can also tell you a little bit about what I do as a commissioning editor. If anyone is interested in actually working in publishing, I don't know. Obviously, the main purpose of my role is to acquire new books for the list. This not only involves handling new proposals that come in, but it also involves a lot of research into what's going on in the areas that you work in at the time, coming up with book ideas and often approaching key figures in a particular field to write or edit them. It's also important to maintain good relationships with existing authors, just in case they want to publish with you again in the future, and the same goes for series editors that you have as well. We find the best way to learn more about the areas themselves and who is doing interesting work on what is to attend conferences, visit universities, and so there is quite a lot of travel involved. So if that's something that interests you, then it could be quite a good career. Once we have a proposal in, obviously we assess it for the commercial viability, we arrange the refereeing process, we make the offers, we send out the contracts. So that's the main part of our job, but also when the manuscript comes in-house, we also oversee the production process, make sure it goes smoothly, make sure any problems are ironed out quite easily, and it's your responsibility to look after the book from beginning to end, basically. We also, approving jacket designs and jacket blurbs and marketing material, and we also liaise quite closely with sales and marketing in order to gain as much exposure as you can. So it's quite a broad and varied role and gives you a good insight into the entire publishing process, really. So yeah, if anyone is interested, then do come and have a chat with myself or Alison afterwards. Thank you.